Welcome to another edition of the program Arise and Start, because fortune most definitely awaits the bold. I'm not alone today on the show. My name is Echo, by the way. I have Dr. Ugochukwu Emmanuel live in the building. Don't forget, this program comes away every Tuesday mornings by 8:30 a.m. I call it your Tuesday morning tone from radio. I mean, if you are not listening to Arise and Start every Tuesday mornings on Music FM, then you probably haven't started your Tuesdays properly. Okay, you know now it seems like Tuesdays are more like the beginning of the working week, because people now relax somewhat. Or you may enjoyment all through Saturday, Sunday, or may carry over to Monday, and then always be on Tuesday. But anyways, welcome to the show. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show.
Good morning, Echo. Good morning, our listeners.
And our viewers too, because I'm sure we're live on Facebook.
Our viewers on Facebook. Good morning.
Okay, so Doc, I'm sure that today you have something, because you always come with, bumper package, all those your Rema that you used to drop for us.
Okay, it's now Rema.
Yes, now, because I mean, there are things that literally you didn't know existed, and then you bring it to us, educate us, enlighten us, and inform us, because they say knowledge is power. For me, I'll say that applied knowledge is power, because if you know and you don't apply, it's as good as not knowing.
Yeah. So today, I think last week we talked about understanding your customers and all that.
Okay.
And but today we're going to be talking about something very important to every entrepreneur.
Okay.
We're going to talk about funding your startups. After all the talks and all that, if we don't talk about money. Good job. So investors fund momentum more than ideas. So basically, we're going to be talking about how do you attract funding. Sources of funding, what do investors look at, how do you prepare yourself or position your company for funding, because like I said, investors fund the momentum. Investors are not charity organizations, so
they just throw money around.
Exactly, yeah. So basically we're going to start with a clear understanding of what comes before money. So most times people put money first, but clarity of business must come first before money. Why do I say so? Because investors wouldn't fund confusion, neither will your customers buy something that won't give them value. So most times I tell people, money is very important. It looks like it's number one on the chart, but just know that before money, you have to get some things ready, and those things is what will attract the funding that you need. So basically, talking about funding, startup funding are the finances you need to start your company, or funding that you need to expand operations for a company that's already started. So. And in entrepreneurship, we have two basic stages. So we have the value building stage, and then we have the value scaling stage. So at the value building stage, is a stage where you come up with your idea, you test the idea or the product that you came up with as a result of the idea. You get to know who your customers are. And you do a couple of experiments to understand the market and all that, and build value around what you're presenting. And then the other stage is value scaling. That's a stage where you need to improve on what you already have. Sometimes you have to hire people, build a system, scale your market or expand your market. So now, in these two stages, the most critical stage where you need money is the value scaling stage.
Value scaling stage.
Yeah, and the reason is this: investors would only invest in value. So if you bring up an idea to an investor, they would like you to test it in the market. A real investor would like you to test it in the market. And that is why I said that something comes before money. And what comes before money? Building your value. That vision you have, that idea you have, build a product out of it, test it, and test it in the marketplace, develop business models around it. And once it works, then you can now meet an investor, because an investor will ask you a question: what problem are you solving? What's your traction? How far have you gone? What are your customers? Who are your customers? What is the reception of the product in the marketplace? They would like to see your finances, data of all those things before they can put in their money. So that is why you need to work on that building stage. And of course, there are things you can do. There are places you can source money for that building stage. For example, if you don't have money. So the first stage, so I'm going to run through some sources of funding for startups. But I'll start with fundings that you can easily get for those of us that don't have money to start up with the building stage or the value building stage. So the first source of funding, which is critical, is yourself.
So now you go fund yourself.
You must get money. If you believe in the idea, you're telling people you have to put your money where your mouth is. We'll get to that.
Hence, we're asking for funds. I mean, you could have an idea, but then you don't have the funds, and you're looking for funds.
So we'll get to that place.
Because I know somebody who's doing a tech startup.
Okay.
Like, brilliant idea, working on. But then, I mean, tech startup is a big industry.
Yeah.
And you need money.
Yeah.
To actually push it and make people believe in it, because you're not the only one doing it now. Other people are also doing it before you come on board. Yeah. Even if your idea is unique, but then you still have to convince people that is unique. So how does one navigate all that?
So now, when we talk of your money, your personal investment as being first source of money, then there are two ways to look at it.
Okay.
So you either come up with money from your savings or from your salary, wherever you can get money, or you do what we call sweat equity. So there are some activities that you do to build your business that ordinarily you would pay someone to do it.
Okay.
So you're doing it for yourself for free, and you're not paying for it.
Okay.
So now, when reporting it to an investor, you must, for example, if you're just like you mentioned, if you're someone starting a tech business, and the business involves building a website, right? And you're good at building website.
Okay.
So now, when you build that website for your company, and you are, listing out items that you invested in, you must write that website and the actual amount it would have cost you to pay.
Pay someone else for it.
Exactly. So these are ways you can source funding. So, but you must. Why I put up this as number one is that if you're going out to people to access funding, they want to know how much you've put into what you're doing. So it's either you've put in a skill that is rare, or you've put in your personal money. Now the second one is from family and friends. So these are usually your first believers. I remember starting out, and I know my mom invested in my business, my dad, and a couple of friends. So because these guys have known you all your life, and again, just because they know you all your life doesn't mean you should approach them for funding recklessly. You should also put some level of professionalism. This would show them that, man, this guy is serious. So they believe in you. So you have to be transparent when approaching them and act professionally. So I know when I was pitching, when I wrote my first book, I was pitching to my dad. So before I even pitched to him, I already organized the book and everything, and then presented it to him. So he saw I was very serious, right? And then he gave me money for it. So, and at the end, I published that book. Then I was still in university. I think around 2006 or 2006 or thereabout. So I published that book with other people's money. and made, after sales and everything, I made about 180,000. Then you know what 180,000 then was.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
But I didn't do the only thing I added, the only thing I did with my, just like I mentioned, putting your personal effort, is I wrote the book and made sure my English teachers edited it, and you know, so I didn't pay them. Then the next thing I did was talking to family and friends, and they gave me money for it. So family and friends are one of your surest avenues for raising funding.
But I want to ask, how do you sell the book? What were your means of sale? Because it's important to not just having an idea. How do you market your idea?
Okay, so first, what I did was I went to schools, secondary schools. Yeah, those are the target market for were secondary schools. So I went to secondary schools and met the directors and principals of the school. Sometimes I would tell them, okay, you sell the book. I think I was selling the book then for either 200 naira or 250. So I'll tell them, okay, I'm giving you this book at 200 naira. You sell for 250. And you know, they'll okay.
Take the 50 gain.
They'll take the 50
and they'll jump on it.
They'll jump on it. So in fact, my fourth year IT was that was the business I did. So I didn't go for I didn't work. I didn't do my IT in any company, and so I just
your own company.
I did my own company. You understand? So that way we sold more than 1,000 copies.
Wow,
before,
that's a stellar performance.
Yeah, that's a stellar performance. You know, so that's also a source of income. Then another source of capital for entrepreneurs is through grants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there are a lot of organizations in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the world that give grants.
Okay.
I know that because I've received from organizations in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the world. So, but the problem we have with most of our youth now is that they keep seeing the smartphones on their hand as an entertainment tool. But once you have a change of mindset and see that the smartphone on your hand as a gate to the world, there are lots of, okay, so let's take for example the Southeast Development Commission. Many of us didn't know that they launched a grant for businesses in Southeast. You know, and imagine, not Nigeria, the business has to be in Southeast. The owners have to be from Southeast, and which is actually a smaller ecosystem that will give you more opportunity. And they were giving businesses that are already functional and existing about $20,000, and those with ideas yet to start about $10,000. I think no, $5,000. You know, so and most people didn't know about that. You know, because this presents an opportunity, you know, for you to access funding. Not only the Southeast Development Commission, the Tony Elumelu Foundation actually gave more than 1,000 entrepreneurs $5,000 each this year. So these are opportunities where, because the thing is this, once you think through your idea and do the testing in the marketplace, anybody, no matter where the person is from, that looks at your idea can jump into it, because you know business is, I would say, the principles that govern the success of business is actually universal. You know, so if an investor from Africa or in the Europe sees your business and the principles, and you've gone through the things, or if you followed all our lessons, what we've been teaching all through, and you build your business around those principles, there's no way you can't get an investment. Now, the next source is through loans, but I usually from financial institutions, but I usually advise people to
yeah. I had a friend, or have a friend who, you know, he was just complaining how he took a loan to do something, and then the people that did the thing for owing him, and the loan interest is accumulating. By the time they pay him, how much will be his gain, blah blah. So I found out that it's not as rosy as it seems. Actually, if you have a delay in payments,
no, you don't use loan for things like contracts, or you know, before you're starting a business, you want to use loan. No, now the loan should be for a company that is stable, your operations are stable, you can predict, a lot of things, operations are around you, and the outcome of things around you, or the activities of your business. So it's not for startups, So, but it's a source of income for companies that have already established, and their operations, and can predict a lot of business activities and its outcome. Then, lastly, angel investors. So that's angel investors or venture capital firms. These are the real investors, that ask the real questions, that give the big money. So for these guys, they exchange money for equity or returns in the future. So for these guys, they invest in value, and they invest in businesses that have track records, businesses that have proven over time, you understand? Because like I said earlier on when we started, investors are not charity organization, So that's that. Now we'll talk about some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make.
Okay. Well, you might just have to hold that thought, and when we come back, we'll probably wrap up the program with some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make. I'm sure that you want to listen to that.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere. And welcome back. So, Doc, before that, you were talking about some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make. So, quickly, let's go to that. Our time is almost up.
All right. So, some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make while, in the process of seeking for funding or capital for business is, one, they don't have clear business model, right? They don't have understanding of their customers. That's the people that are going to buy the problem.
Yeah.
And when you look at your business, you can't see any clear problem they are trying to solve. And then they have weak financial record. So starting out, I've had this challenge. When I was starting out, I had an investor that had interest in my business, but because our financial record didn't have all the requirements that was in it, he didn't invest. So you need to keep track of every investment, of your sales, of every financial transaction you make. You need to keep record of all of this, because they're going to come up when investors indicate interest to invest in your company. And then you have to have a proof of the traction that you've made. How far have you gone? Do you have MOUs? Do you have partnerships? What are the testimonies you have in your business? Then also poor presentation could be a challenge. I think you wanted to ask a question.
Poor presentation. When you say poor, what does that mean?
So poor presentation.
That's poor. Because I wanted to ask that thing, because I know that when you want to pitch your idea to an investor, you definitely be asked to come and present it.
Exactly, be asked to come and present it.
What are those things that you should do or you shouldn't do, or because I've seen people that say, I want to go and pitch my idea to my client, and they are so scared, fidgety. How do you gain control, of that boardroom, and especially your ideas, without fear or doubt?
Okay, so now number one thing, you have to know your business. Now you have to know every single detail about your business. If it takes you 1 week to study it and get answers to anticipated questions and all that, you do it. Why? Because once you know everything about your business, there's a kind of confidence that it gives you.
Just like someone who's entering an exam hall
Exactly.
after having read all the handouts.
Exactly.
You go to the exam hall with so much confidence.
With so much confidence. Now, because the investors are looking at confidence. So apart from investing in your business, the investors are also investing in you. And if you're not confident, how can you invest your money, millions, in someone that is not confident? That means you don't believe in the business you're presenting. So you have to know what you're doing. That's the knowledge part. Take your time to know your numbers and all that, and then you have to present it confidently. If you need to go through a communication class, expert, that is very important, because you spend money to get money.
Spend money to get money. I like that part. Doc, finally, let's wrap up because our time is almost up. What I wanted to ask is, for somebody who is, has this fear of trying to overcome the fear of presentation, what does one do?
All right. So presentation, like every other human activity, your skill and your confidence in it increases by constant practice.
Okay.
And the best place to practice is in front of your mirror.
That is the
mirror principle.
About the mirror principle. I think I'm just joking. Now someone is confirming it.
The best place, from experience, the best place, look yourself in the eye, in the mirror. Because what you see is the same way yourself looks at you is the same way people will be looking at you. So when you master the act of looking at yourself in the eye, you're good to go. Yeah. So
adopt the mirror principle. Okay, shout out to all the ladies. It's not just about doing makeup and pancake on the mirror. You can also use the mirror and motivate yourself to be better. So, okay, finally, go ahead.
So the last word, a startup becomes fundable when it becomes believable. So it's your duty to make your startup believable. Yeah.
It's your duty to make it believable. Thanks a lot, Doc. We need to go, but don't forget to join us every Tuesdays 8:30. But it's like we'll have to extend this our time. I mean first version in the morning. I mean second version. Yeah, because it's really, really interesting. And of course, you can also follow Doc on the social media handles. He's going to give it out now.
At Dr. Ugochukwu Ifediora on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
At Doctor. The Doctor, is it DR?
Yeah, just DR.
Okay.
Then UGO. Then IFEDIORA.
That's DRUGOIFEDIOR. Dr. Ugochukwu Ifediora. Together.
Yes, together.
Okay. No space. All right. Thanks a lot for being a part of the show. My name is Echo. Of course, at 9, the Igbo timer comes your way. Keep listening to Unity 94.1 FM. We truly are blazing the show. Don't forget, 8:30, God willing, next week Tuesday we'll be here with another bumper pack. Doc does not, fail to begin. Doc, we need to start having some of these people also talk about. You remember the lady that came the other time? She finished work.
Yeah.
I think you need to invite her again. Or invite someone else. Let's have some practical, examples of people who have applied these principles and they are, where they are now and going to where they are. Sometimes there's what we call experiential knowledge, things that you learned while you are in the field. So we might also learn from their learning.
Yes.
All right, stay on this radio. Good morning and bye for now.